Hey guys, and welcome to week 4 of Anatomy and Physiology Lab. This week in lab we'll be covering exercise 7, the integumentary system. Our skin and its accessory organs are considered an organ system, known as the integumentary system. The skin has many functions, most concerned with protection, including insulation and cushion of underlying body tissue, protection of the body from abrasion, exposure to harmful chemicals, temperature extremes, and bacterial invasion, temperature regulation, excretion of urea, salts, and water through sweat, vitamin D synthesis and other metabolic processes, and it houses sensory organs for touch, pressure, pain, and temperature. The skin has two distinct regions, the epidermis, composed of epithelium, and the dermis, composed of underlying connective tissue. Deep to the dermis is the subcutaneous layer, or hypodermis, composed of adipose tissue. The subcutaneous layer is not considered part of the skin. In Activity 1, you'll locate structures of the skin in Figure 7.1 and on a skin model in lab. The avascular epidermis is keratinized stratified squamous epithelium consisting of 4 distinct cell types. Abundant keratinocytes that produced keratin, a fibrous protein that gives the epidermis its durability and protective capabilities. Spidery black cells called melanocytes produce brown to black pigment called melanin. Melanin shields the nuclei of cells in the deeper epidermal layers, protecting DNA from the damaging effects of UV radiation. Dendritic cells ingest foreign substances and play a key role in activating the immune response. Tactile epithelial cells help to form sensitive touch receptors. The epidermis consists of 4 or 5 layers. There are 4 layers in thin skin, which covers most of the body. These layers, from deep to superficial, are the stratum basale, stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, and stratum corneum. Thick skin, found on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet, contains an additional layer called the stratum lucidum. The connective tissue proper making up the dermis consists of the papillary and reticular areas. The more superficial, uneven papillary dermal region is composed of areolar connective tissue. This dermal region has finger-like projections called dermal papillae, which attach to the epidermis above. In the palms of the hands and soles of the feet, the dermal papillae produce patterns of epidermal ridges. We refer to these unique patterns as fingerprints. The reticular dermis is the deepest skin layer. It is composed of dense irregular connective tissue and contains many arteries and veins, sweat and sebaceous glands, and pressure receptors called lamellar corpuscles. Cutaneous glands, hair, and nails are the accessory organs of the skin residing primarily in the dermis. Nails are horn-like derivatives of the epidermis. In Activity 2, you'll identify the parts of a nail in Figure 7.3. Hair consists of 2 primary regions, the hair shaft projecting from the surface of the skin, and the hair root beneath the surface of the skin and embedded within the hair follicle. At the base of the hair follicle is the hair bulb, a collection of well-nourished epithelial cells. In Activity 3, you'll compare a slide of the human scalp with a slide of hairless skin from the palm or sole. The cutaneous glands fall primarily into 2 categories, the sebaceous glands and sweat glands. Sebaceous glands, or oil glands, are found all over the body, except for the palms of the hands and the soles of the feet. Their ducts usually empty into a hair follicle, but some open directly on the skin's surface. Sebaceous glands produce sebum, a mixture of oily substances and fragmented cells that acts as a lubricant to keep the skin soft and moist. Sweat glands, also called sudoriferous glands, are exocrine glands widely distributed all over the skin. Sudoriferous glands have openings called pores. They are categorized as either eccrine sweat glands or apocrine sweat glands, based upon the composition of the gland's secretions. Eccrine sweat glands, also called merocrine sweat glands, produce a clear secretion consisting of water, salts, and urea. Eccrine sweat glands are found all over the body. On the other hand, apocrine sweat glands are found primarily in the axillary and genital areas. These glands secrete the basic components of eccrine sweat, plus proteins and fat-rich substances. Apocrine sweat is initially odorless, but when bacteria break down the protein and fat-rich substances, it begins to smell unpleasant. In activities 4, 5, and 6, you'll spend time studying sebaceous and sweat glands, as well as taking and identifying inked fingerprints. Come to lab with a review for exercise 6 completed, and be sure to take your online Canvas quiz. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to your lab instructor.